Knock knock, it's Knuckles and da 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 da. Welcome to part 3 of this Let's Play. It's gonna be real good. We're gonna kick Robotnik's ass out of this neighborhood. Oh yeah. Welcome everybody. In this neighborhood is Marble Garden Zone Act 1, I believe. We're still in Act 1. Yep. And as I mentioned before, this act, I got a little bit lost in it as a kid, but it's not too tough now. These things though, they're the gimmick for this stage, these little flying discs, and I'm not quite sure if I like them. I'm kind of indifferent to them. But I will say this, they did make a reappearance in a later game called Sonic Generations, and I personally think they control nowhere near as good in that game as they do here in Sonic 3 and Knuckles. They're just kind of awkward to control in that game, but they're pretty cool here. When you put them on the ground, they can go super fast, like even faster than Sonic, as you'll see right now. Look at them go. And of course you can jump off of them, find different pathways through the level and stuff because of this game's freaking awesome level design that I keep talking about. And of course here we are at the end of the level already, which makes sense because I kind of stopped the last part about halfway through this level. And that was a pretty easy boss fight now, wasn't it? The same cannot be said for the next boss fight we're going to face. Again, it's not too hard for me now, but we're about to face one of the tougher boss fights in the game. But at the very least, we're not playing as Tails only. In Tails' playthrough, and this isn't a spoiler because we're not going to do a Tails only playthrough. The next boss we're going to face, and you'll get a little preview of him right now. He is very tough when you're Tails only. Took me a very long time to beat him when I was younger. I believe this is a new path that I haven't been to before. Maybe I've been to it once or twice, but I don't really remember. It wasn't until this playthrough that I kind of discovered this pathway. And of course it's the fastest path through the level, which is very nice. It's always the greatest feeling when you find a faster pathway through one of these levels. It's what these Sonic games are all about. It's also why I love watching speedruns of these games on YouTube. There are some really cool Sonic speedruns out there, so you know, if you have a favorite Sonic game, try looking up speedruns of it. You are guaranteed to enjoy watching it. Oh shit, I almost died. One time I think I actually glitched through one of those. These are kind of fun. You can also bounce off those if you spin dash on top of them instead of to the side. Now, next zone is going to be quite interesting musically, so I guess it's time to start talking about the music in this game. The music, the soundtrack of Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles is as interesting as it is great. There's quite an interesting story behind it, because there are rumors. Well, actually, at this point, they're pretty much proven that Michael Jackson, or at the very least, members of Michael Jackson's musical team, worked on the music of Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Or Sonic 3, rather. But then he ended up not going credited in the credits of the game. And this was quite the rumor on the internet for a while. Lots of theories and stuff happened around it, but basically Brad Buxer, who's like the pianist for Michael Jackson, and like a bunch of other people who've worked with him, were in the credits of the game, And if you listen to some of the songs, you can hear his influence in the music. Like, you can literally hear voice clips from him. Like, for example, in Launch Base Zone, you can hear Michael Jackson saying "go," and I'm pretty sure it's the same voice clip that was in the song Speed Demon. I think they literally took it right out of that song because it sounds about the same. And there's some other Michael Jackson voice clips you can hear in the music. But it gets interesting because in the PC version of Sonic 3 and Knuckles, released in 1997, about 3 or 4 years after this game came out, 3 of the songs from Sonic 3 were completely replaced. 3 of the zone medleys. And it's the next zone, Carnival Night, the zone after it, Ice Cap, and the zone after that, Launch Base. Now, because I'm playing Sonic 3 complete, I basically have control over what my soundtrack of this game is. And I've kept it mostly the same, but I did change the next level to the PC version because I actually prefer it. The Carnival Night music in Sonic 3 and Knuckles for Genesis just kind of sounds like generic circus clown music, and I don't really like it much. But that's the only one from the PC version that I actually prefer. Now, the whole Michael Jackson working on the Sonic 3 soundtrack story is a lot more complicated and complex than I'm able to get into in just this one video. So I'll put some links during the end screen to videos that can explain this way better than I can and in much further detail, for those of you who are interested. And here we are at that tougher boss fight I was talking about. It's not as tough with Sonic because you can just jump off of Tails and land on him. But as Tails, you can't go into ball form. You have to come up from underneath Eggman and hit him with your propeller, Tails. And that's the only way you can attack him. And it doesn't even let you know that. It doesn't even like have some way of telling you that. You just kind of have to figure it out. And then once you do, even once you figure that out, it's a pain in the ass to actually pull it off and hit him 8 times from below. Because, you know, you gotta know which way he's coming from. So there's that PC music I was talking about for Carnival Night Zone. And so if you've played the PC version of this, you might actually recognize this tune. But if you haven't, you probably won't. You might not recognize it, because this was not the song that was used in the Sega Genesis version of the game. But this is where the story gets really interesting. Just recently, a beta of Sonic 3 and Knuckles for the Genesis was released. Just like earlier this year, I think, maybe last year. And in that version of the game, in that beta, these 3 songs are present. The PC version, I mean. And it's crazy because it's like, first of all, we now have versions of these songs made with Genesis instruments, so we don't have to listen to the crappy MIDIs anymore. But it also makes this story a lot more confusing. Because we all thought that the music was put into the PC version to replace the Michael Jackson music because their deal fell out or whatever. But it turns out that it was actually the original music from the beginning. So now this has everybody confused. Here's what I think. And there might be some big piece of information that I'm completely forgetting about that completely debunks this theory. So feel free to tear it apart in the comments if you can. But my theory is that those 3 songs, Carnival Night, Ice Cap, Launch Base, were still being worked on by Michael Jackson by the time that beta was finished. And those, the PC versions, which were actually the original versions, were there as sort of placeholders until Michael Jackson had his music finished. Now, why would they make placeholders if, well, maybe they didn't originally plan to have Michael Jackson working on it. Maybe they had started making some music, then they realized he was going to work on it, and they just kind of kept that music in the demo, or in the beta version, until he was done, and then his music made it into the final game, but then they got rid of him in the credits because of like all the allegations from the 90s and stuff. And so when the new game came out on PC, they just put that old music back in. That's my theory. But anyway, we have got all the Chaos Emeralds, and we can become Super Sonic. And Super Sonic is freaking badass. There he is, right there. Our golden yellow boy. Who is super fast and can jump higher and is invincible. The only way you can kill Super Sonic is by... The only way Super Sonic can die is if he gets crushed, or if he falls in a bottomless pit, or if he drowns. He can still drown. So don't go skipping out on those air bubbles. But look at him! Isn't he totally epic? Now, Super Sonic is also available in Sonic 2, but as you already know if you've seen my playthrough, we did not unlock him in that game because, well, 3 reasons. One, and the main reason, I hate the special stages in that game. I can't get through them for the life of me except with, like, save states. And even with save states, I can't stand them. Secondly, the zones in Sonic 2 were not designed with Super Sonic in mind. It actually can be more annoying to play the game with Super Sonic than without. So he's not much of a reward, is he? Because you'll spend most of your time just falling into bottomless pits and stuff. And thirdly, it's a better ending in Sonic 2 if you don't unlock him. But anyway, this has been Sonic 3 and... Ya boy! Part 3. Thank you all so much for watching. This is Knuckles. I'm headed back to my island to protect the Master Emerald, but I will be back here in 1 week to give you Part 4. Have a great week.